Any injuries I should...
Godlike. Interested in saving a couple of lives? So, you're that godlike, the Adiran envoy. You're the one who saves the ambassador from the strangle root, right? Well, the conversation went something like, "Did you hear an Adiran envoy was killed at the gate?" "What? Really?" "Yes! A godlike! She saves the ambassador from the strangle root." And so on. I'm sorry, that came out wrong. I'm just trying to help some friends of mine. They're Adirans, but they've had a string of bad luck. Is there any chance you could lend them a hand? I know this is strange, but they're in a rough situation and, well, to be honest, they helped me out a while back when I needed it. I'm just trying to return the favor. A fair request. I was an animancer in Fjord, just through the mountains in Emerald Stair. A lot of Valian animancers came to Fjord to experiment without the restrictions that come from noble patronage. Well, it turned out my high-minded theories were more explosive than I had calculated. I washed out, disgraced. Then I left Emerald Stair and I lost myself in a bottle at the Grinning Ballarok. Lofled and Gladwine pulled me out of it. Galarde. Lofled and Gladwine came here about 8 years ago, long before the recent rush of Adirans. They admitted to having a checkered past back home, but they started a new life in Paradis. Back then you'd struggle to find an Adiran in the city. Now they're everywhere. Anyway, with all these Adirans coming in, Lofled and Gladwine started spotting old faces. And if they were spotting old faces, it was only a matter of time before those faces started spotting them back. They're lying low in the shantytown for now, but they mean to leave for Thirdborn.
Adirans in the shantytown. I doubt they're getting a warm welcome. Most of the people there are Paradisans run out by Adir.
They're afraid to go out in public, and Gladwine, poor soul, he's gone blind from bad drink. Ah, but you can. There are herbs in the wilds around Paradis that can restore Gladwine's sight. It's a little too dangerous for us ordinary folks, but for the Adiran envoy, for the hero who braved the strangle root, I'm sure it will be no problem.
Ending with flattery is a nice touch.
Agrasima. Thank you for hearing me out, in any case. Oh, there is one more thing they need. Landits. They've already paid for them. There's a Rawatayan in the Pearl District, Mako, who was handling the paperwork. I don't know. That's the problem. Mako and I had a falling out a while back. It's best if someone else goes. Thank you, Envoy. God bless you.
Walk in, give her the letter, and go. You can do this. You don't have to say anything. The letter will do the talking for you. Sort of. Maybe you can help. I was seeing this girl, Nasha, down at the bathhouse. I'm sure it was just business at first, but we fell in love. I haven't been in a while, though. And the thing is, I've met someone else. I suppose. Still, I can't just abandon her. I wrote her a letter, but I'm too cowardly to deliver it. If you're headed that way, would you mind giving it to her? Right. Of course. I can pay you. I'd pay anything to not feel so guilty. Thank you. I used to wonder why no one talked about this. Now I understand. Nasha should be working right now. The place is called the Mermaid's Den. It's the big one with the balcony and the round window. If you get lost, look for the mermaid mural. You can't miss it. And here's some coin for your trouble.
Wish that Sawbones would hurry up. I gotta get back to him. No one else is coming to help. Wow, it's really you. I mean, we all heard the Emperor sent a godlike, but I didn't never think I'd get to meet you. You are the envoy, aren't you? I bow, but I think I dislocated my shoulder, and I might have broken some ribs. Is that the lady who brought you back from the dead? Teach, the ambassador's secretary. He told me you got sniped the second you walked through the gate. Thwack! I couldn't believe it. I mean, talk about getting off on the wrong foot. Anyway, don't worry about me. Sawbones is going to escort me to the clinic any minute. And I'm not exactly in a hurry to see him. Not until I get help from my brother.
If Adir's medics are anything like Rawatai's, we'll hear your screams from 3 blocks away.
Oh, good. That'll be a lot of fun for everyone. My brother Cadman and I ran into some trouble exploring a temple north of the city. Bears and traps and guards. What else? The floor collapsed from under us. He couldn't walk too well, and yet our captain wanted to keep going, so he sent me back for help. We're with a team from the Free Expedition Corps. We've seen a lot. No place like this. I fear for their lives, Envoy. It's built on ruins, and the ruins are falling apart. Because of the roots, you know, and the earthquakes. We're looking for the man who built the temple, someone the locals call the Oracle. He's well, he's like you, a godlike. He belongs to Aethys. And if the rumors are true, he's the very last of his kind.
Take it from me. Around here, the rumors always have some truth to them.
We just want to talk to him. That's why we went down there. Now my brother's hurt, and my team's in danger, and I'm stuck here and...
Take it easy, kid.
Sorry. Everyone at the embassy's too busy to help me, and I'm worried sick. This Oracle, he set himself up in a godless ruin. Turned it into a temple to Aethys, right? Supposedly, he built the whole place up just to house a holy relic. A bone from Aethys' titan. I guess they don't talk about our discoveries in the court, huh? The place Aethys was headed in the Deadfire, Ukaizo. There are these enormous skeletons. I mean, they're hundreds of feet tall. Yeda, our captain, she believes these titan skeletons are what's left of the gods' physical bodies. They used to get up and walk around. And this godlike, he's got a piece of the one that belonged to Aethys. That's what my team is down there to confirm, anyway.
Not much. He doesn't get out often. But I've heard he's hundreds of years old and only speaks to godlikes. So, he probably hasn't seen much company in a while. Can't say I blame him. People still fault Aethys for the Saints' War, and that was 25 years ago. If I were the earthly avatar of everyone's least favorite god, I'd go into hiding too.
If nobody wants him here, then he should leave. Well, if that relic really is what it's said to be, and if it can heal the sick like it's said to do, it can't stay here. Not in some dank hole in this mouldering backwater. Not when it can help our people with the Dream Scourge. Or help people back home who deserve it more. And yet is determined to get that relic, no matter the risks. The rewards are just too great.
But
Envoy, I'm afraid it's a lie. And they're all going to die down there for nothing. Gods, do you mean it? I can't thank you enough. They descended into the temple through a route off the Pilgrim's Path, just north of the city. You'll know you're headed the right way when you see trail markers and rock stacks the Pilgrims left behind. We posted a guard out front, Sedgwin. Let her know I sent you, and she'll let you pass. Well, I gather there were folks who worshipped Aethys. And they'd come to this temple from all over the living lands to pray, or be healed, or to ask forgiveness. But Aethys isn't too popular these days, so...
So, most people don't go there anymore.
Right. Exactly. Cadman's not gonna believe his eyes when he sees you. You'll probably find the expedition with the relic we were searching for. Whatever that is. Thank you for hearing me out, Envoy.
Envoy, got a situation over here. Oh, good. You came over. Glad to see you're up and about.
For fuck's sake, can we move this along? I don't have all day.
I'm glad. I hate to admit it, but the guards could use your help. Most of us are off searching for the ones who attacked you. That leaves us short-handed, so people like her try to sneak in. I caught this one, but I have to check her cart for contraband. There's a lot to dig through. Find anything? Find anything? I knew you were hiding something. You'd better have an ironclad explanation for this.
I don't know anything. Someone's trying to set me up.
Thanks for the help, Envoy. I think I can handle it from here.
Wouldn't want their diplomats going hungry or sober. Right behind you. Guess Adiran discipline doesn't apply to pest control. You're mine now! Hey! I was just getting warmed up. Here it comes. Aye, aye. I don't think the new owners like company. Quiet as the depths.
How'd you do that?
Show me what you got! Despite the name, the Living Lands isn't an easy place to make a life, but it breeds resourcefulness. Good find. Even Pargrun and walls can't stand against this place. The so-called godless people disappeared centuries ago, but left plenty of ruins to remember them by.
Heard something.
You're gonna regret that.
On your right. You're not looking so good. Find you better armor. Your weapon's not doing the job. Up. Coming from your right.
The so-called godless people. Disappeared centuries ago, but left plenty of ruins to remember them by. You take lead.
What was that? I'm coming for you! You're gonna regret that!
Next one's mine. To your left.
Unseen, unheard.
You're gonna regret that!
Glad you're on my side.
To your left. Back in the fight. Left leg. You're a good friend.
quiet as the depths.
How'd you do that?
Nothing like a win with a good team. Right flank! You okay? That's it for me! That's more like it! Oh! Unseen.
tragedy. The recently arrived envoy from Admir was assassinated just inside the front gate. Still at large.
You died? But you're here. Gods, am I glad to see you. None of the clerks believe my story. You've got some god looking out for you. Still can't believe you're alive. I'll keep trying. But there's not much to be done for Fort Northreach.
Envoy, hello. I'm glad to see you on your feet. Kai.
Tej,
I'm surprised they let you in here.
I'm surprised you're still gainfully employed.
I didn't mean anything by it, Envoy. He's just curious company for you to keep.
Hey, somebody has to have the envoys back, because you all sure didn't.
No one expected the Envoy to get assassinated.
Exactly. Amateurs. Well,
I?
Come on, it's funny. Teach caused a ruckus last time he was slumming it at the Bala Rock. You were trying to kill a man, if I remember right. I had to put you outside.
You threw me into the canal.
You lived.
That water's filthy. I had the runs for 3 days.
Gods, Teach. The envoy doesn't need to know that. Yeah, but now you'll never think of Teach the same way again, will you? And now he'll never think of you the same way either.
Let's not make more of it than it was. I shouldn't have said anything. The fellow cheated me. I couldn't let that slide. Or he'd think we were all marks.
It was over a dice game, right? Teach here has a gambling problem.
Great. Let's air all my troubles. Is there anything else?
The bartender sleeping with your girlfriend.
You're lying.
You sure about that?
We'll talk about this later.
I'm not breaking up with her for you. Just so we're clear.
That's more than enough. Thank you. Was there anything I could help you with, Envoy? Naturally, Mom. How can I help you? What would you like to know? The Resistance, as such, are largely a group of misfits and criminals intent on undermining the rule of law. They take out loans with small Adirn banking houses and do not pay them, then assault the bankers who attempt to collect. They agree to contracts with families in Adir seeking homes, and when their ships arrive, promptly abandon them. When we levy a small tax to fund the repair of city roads, they set our counting house on fire. And when our fishermen return to port, they board their ships and sink them.
That's certainly one way to characterize them. It's not exactly wrong, but it's not exactly right either.
For decades, people like them ruled this city through fear. We imposed order, and now they oppose us. You, unfortunately, were caught in the crossfire. Depends on who you ask. Ambassador Heelgard will tell you that our remit here is to establish a secure and orderly environment from which to engage in trade. Inquisitor Liudwin will tell you we're here to break the frontier.
So, which is it?
Why not both? That's where you come in. Whether you find your desires aligning with the ambassadors or the inquisitors, neither can succeed until the Dream Scourge is ended. We are only beginning to see its effects here in Dawnshore, but the closer to the center of the island you go, the worse it gets. That bear you and the ambassador encountered in the Strangle Route isn't even the worst of it, and the tide of this soul plague is rising higher every day. For however rough around the edges this city is, there are good people here. Same as anywhere else. People who want to be able to walk to the market in the morning for their bread and eggs and know they won't be mugged. People who like it when the mail comes on time, and their skates are made from real copper, and their neighborhood peeping Tom ends up in the stocks. Those people, good and honest people, who pay their debts and honor their contracts and remember to thank the gods. They like us a lot. Of course. There's a lot of ground to cover. Could you be more specific? Ah, the age-old question. Who's bigger? Adir is, naturally, by a wide margin. And were we at the Cartographers Guild in High Crown, I could show you on one of their globes. As it is, we must make do in the theater of our minds. The Living Lands are located in the far north of Aora. Adir is southwest of the Living Lands, situated along the equator. The Living Lands are more arid than Adir, and the island is more prone to storms. But its many deep valleys protect the various townships from the worst of the weather. Topographically speaking, the Living Lands are a place of extremes. Deep inland, mountains rise high enough to rival those of the White March, blanketed year-round in snow. While east of the volcano of Mount Forja is an acid sea that sinks far below the level of the ocean. The lands between them are riven with deep clefts in the earth and isolated by wastelands of sun-baked sand dunes. I'll share what I can. There is no singular authority in the Living Lands.
Not yet, anyway.
I shudder to think what the Living Lands would look like under your rule.
Well, to start, there'd be a lot more brothels.
Charming. Power is invested in the leaders of the various townships scattered across the island. The largest are Fjord, Thirdborn, and Solace. None of which, I will note, are as safe and orderly as Paradise. Fior Messaverno is located in a valley known locally as the Emerald Stair, named for the terraced rice paddies that cover its hillsides. It is our closest neighbor. The city, if you can call it that, was founded 50 years ago by animancers from the Valian Republics. Apparently, the laws governing animancy weren't lenient enough in the Republics. So the city's founders came to the Living Lands, where they could practice their discipline more freely. Currently, Fjord is governed by a man named Ignacy Vidaro. Rather inept to hear the ambassador talk about him. Fjord's farmers supply most of the grain and vegetables we eat here in Paradise. Or it did. Their shipments have been infrequent lately. Something about a blight in the fields. In any event, I believe that covers Fjord. I'm an open book. Ulfric? I did. Terrible shame what happened to his brother. It sounds like his injuries were severe. I saw you two talking. I hope you can help him, Envoy. I don't mean to twist your arm, but don't delay too long. There have been earthquakes in the region lately, floods, cave-ins. Gods know what else is possible down in that cave. You're the only one we have with the expertise for that kind of field work.
Aside from the people in trouble down there, which says something to the danger in that cave.
Whatever I think of the Expeditions Corps, they serve a vital purpose to the Empire. I'm glad it's you going after them. Well, you'll notice I'm nearly always here. If that man sleeps, I don't know about it. He wouldn't say, but I believe he relied on the Claviger far more than he lets on. And without the Claviger's steady hand at the rudder, the ambassador's struggling just to bail water from the sinking ship that is Paradise.
Claviger Aemon might have tolerated a little more chaos than the ambassador liked, but he kept this place humming. He's not someone you can easily replace, and not with one man alone.
It's a difficult job. The pressure sometimes gets the better of him. But if he loses his temper now and then, I can't blame him for it. Better him than me. He doesn't know what to do with himself. You know, in our first days here, he'd often walk to the end of the docks at sunrise. The work was done, the embassy was closed, and he'd still be wearing the same clothes he'd slept in at his desk. And he'd just stare out over the sea. He always seemed dissatisfied back then. I suppose, years later, he still does. By all means, consider yourself lucky. Inquisitor Ludwine is the commander of the Steel Garrote in Paradise. Were you to ask her, she'd say she keeps the peace. But she doesn't keep it so much as prosecute it, as ruthlessly as the ambassador will let her. She's also a veteran of the Steel Garrote's campaign in the Deathfire, where she died.
She's a Death Guard. Well, that explains a lot.
I don't know what happened to her there, but I suppose Wodica wasn't done with her yet. Death Guards are surpassingly rare. Some of the secretaries who traveled with our dignitaries in the Deathfire spoke of one named Iser, a devotee of Berith, who guards the hanging sepulchres there. But I've heard of no others except those I've read about in the histories, or, as you say, in stories. They are people, most often paladins or priests, so devoted to a cause that they simply refuse to pass on to the wheel when they die. Their soul haunts their body. The passion required to sustain them devours their flesh, and they swiftly turn to bone. I've never read a history nor tale of a death guard that did not end with them going quite mad. When they lose their capacity to care for anything but their cause, they cannot love. And when they cannot love, they cannot be merciful. And so everything before them becomes only an obstacle. I'm an open book. I trust whomever told you to consult a watcher also told you to avoid the one in the city. She is a liar and a thief.
Oh, did you take your money?
No. Anyway, watchers are individuals capable of perceiving souls. The soul may be in a living body, or it may simply be lingering, waiting to pass into the in-between. In either case, interacting with a soul allows a watcher to glimpse a person's past lives or their most deeply buried memories. Watchers are incredibly rare, and in Adir, highly controlled. Many people wish to know who they were in a previous life, and do not like what they learn. The smart ones stay hidden. They do not announce their powers, perhaps not even to themselves. Even a careful watcher risks inadvertently revealing themselves by knowing something they shouldn't know. Of the ones that are public, little is concretely known. But we hear things. They make good judges in Wodica's courts, so long as they're controlled. The lords, it's rumored, buy and sell them to collect blackmail on their enemies. But I suspect many watchers are imprisoned or executed, or simply kill themselves. Yes and no. So far as I understand it, a watcher is born a watcher. But it takes an event, often something shocking or traumatic, to bring a watcher's powers to the fore. So you may be a watcher, or I may be, or Kai, and we might not even know. Well, the Watcher of Cadnua is legendary. It was their castle Aethys destroyed when he began his campaign of terror in the Dead Fire. Oh, by the Queen, I hope I get to meet them someday. In terms of local interest, you'll have heard of Runid, of course. And there was Ida. You may not know about her. She was a watcher from the Living Lands. I believe she was an Orlan. She must have died, 150 years ago. Slain by a great serpent, gods treat kindly with her soul. Doubtless there are others, but most don't meet a good end. By all means. Should you ever need me, I will be here. Safe travels, envoy.
Still can't believe you're alive.
Envoy, is it really you? I can't believe you're alive. When they dragged you to Liviana's, how do you feel? Not even death can slow you down, I see. But we'll return to the topic of your untimely demise shortly. Our first order of business is your purpose here in the Living Lands. Did the Emperor send you with anything for me? Your writ of commission, perhaps? Very good. I'm eager to see what our Emperor intends. Now, His Majesty names you a loyal servant of the Adiran Empire, and an extension of the throne's authority. Thank goodness. At least someone understands the gravity of our situation. With that, I have better news for him. You've seen how wild the Living Lands has become, both in nature and in politics. Sometimes I think the island has a mind of its own. No sooner had you arrived than you found yourself at the center of our troubles. Trust me, we'll get to that. This embassy has no shortage of political foes, but the Dream Scourge is what keeps me up at night. You've seen firsthand what it can do in nature. We can't let it reach the cities. Inquisitor Ludwig thinks the plague is a distraction. She's more concerned about these local rebels fighting against the Empire. They've sabotaged our work, killed our soldiers, and the final straw, attacked you out in the open. Indeed. The killer sent a message, but this is our chance to send one in return. I won't lie to you, Envoy. Our position is tenuous. If we can't even defend ourselves, how are we to defend the living lands? But defend it we must, for the sake of everyone who calls this island home. Inquisitor Ludwine demands that someone hang for the attempt on your life. These Paradisen rebels must face justice. The choice is yours, as will be the consequences. All I ask is that you use your best judgment.
Not many get a chance to solve their own murder, you know. I know someone who could help. A dwarven tracker named Marius. Kith or beast, there's little he can't find. He's staying at the Grinning Ballarrock, not far from Liviana's infirmary. We just take the main road east to the market, then head down the stairs and cross the canal. Rough part of town, even by the standards of Paradise. Marius is from the Tusks, about the harshest and remotest place the gods ever created, even by the standards of the living lands.
Trickery, lies. The gods did not build this place.
Let's just say no one survives out there without picking up a few skills, the kind we'll need if we're going to find hidden assassins. Especially if they're from the streets of Paradise.
I suggest you recruit as many allies as you can, but choose carefully. They, like you, will represent the Empire. But before we can send you off to parts unknown, we need assurances from the local healer that you're fully recovered. After all, you survived a brush with death. The health of your body is one thing, the health of your soul is another. An unusual course of treatment, but who am I to argue? Remember, the assassin is out there. You have the element of surprise. I suggest you use it. Oh, I wish I could see the killer's face when they realize the hunter has become the hunted. We'll talk more of the Dream Scourge when you return. Until then, Envoy.
How about we start with Marius at the Grinning Ballarrock? Besides, I could use a drink after all this.